Inspiration might not be as elusive as we think. In fact, it's kind of predictable. My name is Jenny Velarde. I'm a psychotherapist, and just as importantly, I'm an artist. Inspiration. As a concept, historically, it's safe to say it's been portrayed a little on the flowery side. Over the centuries, it's been mulled over. Dante, Shakespeare, Keats, so many more, painting a picture of this airy, kind of floaty phenomenon, a muse like a vapor that wafts into our lives, and if we're lucky, imparts something magnificent upon us, and poof, disappears as quickly as it came. Inspiration, a tantalizing yet evasive, unavailable anomaly. I don't know about you, but to me, that's just kind of annoying. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Shakespeare. I love feeling inspired. And even more importantly than my peanut gallery opinion, there's great news for us as creators that quantifiable research shows inspiration may be a little more predictable and, dare I say, practical than historical accounts dictate. Let's explore more to see if we can kind of tilt the odds in our favor when it comes to inspiration sparking in our lives by learning more about the ins and outs of this motivational state. I'm excited to jump in and explore inspiration logistically, but first let's note the very real-world reasons why it's important to bring the topic of inspiration into conversation. As a therapist, I know full and well that inspiration in the life of the creator is no small thing. It can be the variable that makes the difference between a vision being brought into fruition and feeling a deep alignment with one's purpose and feeling frustratingly blocked, self-doubting, deflated. Working with so many artists over the years, clinically and creatively, and from personal experience, I know that the lack of inspiration can feel isolating, desolate, and it can spiral quickly. One moment we may be feeling a little apathetic, on empty, uninspired, and before we know it, this feeling can cascade into us questioning our creative abilities, our self-worth, the meaning of life, and our place in it. And wow, can it move fast? Inspiration, or lack thereof, has a real-world impact on our mental health and well-being. So in this way, rationally, it's important to address it and learn all that we can about it. Researchers have defined inspiration as a motivational state that compels one to bring vision into fruition. In other words, it's a reaction inside of us, the spark that prompts us to want to bring an idea into reality. A recent meta-analytics study noted that unfortunately, inspiration as a research subject matter has largely, historically, been critiqued as being, quote, mythical, unimportant, and unscientific. Though fortunately, psychologists Thrash and Elliot saw this human behavior quite differently. Over their years of quantifiable research on the subject, they've uncovered the pattern of inspiration. They've noted the motivational state of inspiration is defined by three core components, what they've labeled evocation, transcendence, and approach motivation. Let's break it down. Evocation, the first component, is the moment that something is evoked, the spark. It's spontaneous, it's not initiated by our will, and it's evoked by a stimulus, internally or externally. Perhaps it's something that we see or hear or encounter, something we experience in some way, and we have a reaction to it. Component 2, transcendence. In this reaction, we are taken from our day-to-day present moment and transcended, kind of lifted out into a space of distinct mental clarity, focus. It's vivid, it's concrete, an idea, an awareness that a possibility has unfolded. The third component, approach motivation, is the aspect of inspiration in which we feel compelled to put this new vision into tangible form. This is where we are prompted to want to actualize or to turn this idea from thought into action. Through their research, Thrash and Elliot noted it was this pattern of these three components, evocation, transcendence, and approach motivation, that distinguished inspiration from any other human behavior. Now, here's how to make the findings of this research actionable. Let's hone in on the first component, the evocation state. As creators, this is where we want to put our efforts, because this is where we can tilt those odds in our favor of feeling inspired more often. Now, first, let's establish with inspiration, here's what's out of our hands. We never know for sure what's going to actually evoke us, to spark us. After all, the evocation stage is described as a spontaneous experience. But here's what we do know. Based on these research findings, inspiration is generated by an interaction with stimulus. Now, in this moment, you may be thinking, well, yeah, I'm surrounded by stimuli all the time, but I'm not inspired all the time. Absolutely. We're constantly inundated by stimuli. In fact, more so than any time in recorded human history. Billboards, headlines, pop-ups, memes, emojis. Though, just because we interface with a lot of stimuli doesn't mean it's the most beneficial kind when it comes to what will evoke us, what will inspire us. I mean, consider this. Think about our current engagement with technology alone. Advanced algorithms that are getting more sophisticated by the day, collecting all the patterns of our online behavior and start to curate back to us more of the same based on our search histories. It's streamlining what we see and encounter based on our daily routines and choices, which in many ways is making the stimuli we passively interact with more homogenized, more limited, smaller. So, if the first component of inspiration is evocation, let's give ourselves a fighting chance in actually getting evoked. In fact, let's work towards building out for ourselves and nurturing evocation-rich environments and opportunities. How do we do this? Start simple. Start by answering the following questions, by consciously considering what delights you, what makes you really ponder. What could you just sit down and research, kind of learn more about for hours at a time, and it wouldn't feel like a chore to you? What makes you joy-filled? What makes you feel healthy? What gets you pumped up? What rings true to your aesthetic? What makes you want to move? Start with a few specific things. Just list them off. You can do it aloud. You could write it down, and then branch out from there. That's the starting place that will lead to more. See how much information on what tends to evoke you can generate. Then you can start to get more of this into your life. Seek it out. It's like a bit of a treasure hunt. Looking for a surprise. Off the top of my head, for me, I love graphic design from the late 70s, early 80s. There's something about it that just pleases my eye. By purposefully hunting this out, whether I just do kind of a quick Google search, or maybe I stop at a garage sale and scan through a box of old records or magazines to closely examine the fonts, the typeface, the layout choices. All of a sudden, I'm opening myself up to the possibility of being evoked. By these simple acts alone, I am offering myself an evocation-rich experience. Now, this can be applied to anything. Another way of evoking: try something new. Shake things up, expose yourself to something completely fresh that you've maybe been curious about. By stepping into something totally novel, you are opening up the potential to be evoked. And not only that, but the possibility of a whole new world of more evocation opportunities. And at a minimum, if you discover that this new experience does not, in fact, spark for you, you now know that this is something that just doesn't evoke you, which is valuable information too. As creators, we want to do anything that we can do to set ourselves up well. The next time inspiration starts to feel like a misty, impossible to capture cartoon character, aim to seek out and offer yourself evocation-rich opportunities, environments, experiences. Logistically speaking, and backed by research, you will be increasing your chances of stepping into the motivational state that is inspiration. Now go and create. You were created to. Now here's the thing about procrastination. With the right tools, it can be our greatest helper. Without the right tools, it will take us down, shamelessly stealing days, months, years, and even decades from us. And it doesn't stop on its own. The procrastination system: 6 hours, 5 segments, 20 chapters, custom-built tools and concepts reinforced by up-to-date neuroscience. Turn your inaction into traction. The link's below. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. If this episode was useful, I would love for you to hit the like button and perhaps share it with someone. For more tool-based, actionable, creative content, please make sure to subscribe. Also, if you have a question about creativity or the artist role that you would like to have answered, please leave it in the comments below, and it may be featured in an upcoming episode.